Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So yesterday I saw a report in the Baltimore Sun, and I want to share it with you because I think that it is a positive development, and hopefully other prosecutors around the country will make a similar decision. So let me share my screen with you all. Just bear with me 1 second so we can get right into it. So here's the article from the Baltimore. Well, actually, this is from the WBLL TV. It's the local affiliate to NBC, and this was also reported in the Baltimore Sun as well. But basically, State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby has announced that Baltimore prosecutors will no longer prosecute for marijuana possession. So I'm going to read some excerpts from here and then provide my commentary. She said this, she said, prosecuting these cases has no public safety value, disproportionately impacts communities of color, and erodes public trust, and is costly and counterproductive use of limited resources. And then she went on to talk about the war on drugs. She said, for far too long, we have sat back and watched certain communities and families destroyed by failed policies of the so-called war on drugs. The effects of these failed policies have been especially dire for cities like Baltimore. And it talks about how for decades they were criminalized and now is considered a national, public health crisis. So her office will vacate almost 5,000 cases involving marijuana possession dating back to 2011. And this is an outline of the policy changes. The office will no longer prosecute marijuana possession cases regardless of the weight or a person's prior criminal history. The office will prosecute the distribution of marijuana as long as there's articulated evidence of intent to distribute beyond the mere fact of possession. And then it says that all people charged for the first time with felony possession with intent to distribute or with felony distribution will be referred to diversion programs. And then also she called upon law enforcement to join her office in that effort. And basically, the interim police commissioner said that he disagrees with this policy. He said that he's not going to tell his officers to not make those arrests. And, he went on to say that he sees the negative impacts that marijuana has on Black communities. And he said at the end of the day, the last thing we need in Baltimore is another illegal substance. And he basically said that until the legislature decides to change the law, we're going to continue to enforce it. So even though you have a prosecutor who is not going to prosecute people for marijuana possession, the police department is still going to arrest people for marijuana possession. So, even though the police are going to arrest people, that doesn't mean that, they're going to be charged. So the police can arrest somebody, but if you got a prosecutor who is not going to prosecute these cases, it's an exercise in futility, and it's a waste of police resources. And then here's a statement released by the mayor. The mayor basically talked about how we need to commit our full resources to getting violent criminals off of our streets. And she talked about the need to look at common sense approaches to laws governing personal possession of marijuana, like other cities have done, including New York City, Philadelphia, St. Louis, and Reno. And she basically said, I'm supportive of what the state's attorney is attempting to address, namely the unnecessary criminalization of those who possess marijuana merely for personal use. And she also talked about how illegal substances fuel criminality in neighborhoods that leads to violence. So I just wanted to share this article with you all, and I just want to share a couple of quick thoughts. You know, I think that this is an important development because, you know, this will free up the prosecutor's office to focus on more serious matters, you know, focus on violent crime instead of somebody possessing marijuana for their own personal use. You know, Baltimore City has, you know, far more important issues to address besides marijuana possession. And by taking this off the table, it will enable police to focus on things that are more important, like the guns that are in our communities, you know, the violence that are in, you know, Baltimore City, that is in Baltimore City. It will enable police to address on, you know, more hard drugs. You know, for instance, like here in Baltimore, we have, you know, opioid epidemic. You know, we have people on heroin in Baltimore. You know, so you know, that's a more pressing issue besides, you know, somebody possessing marijuana for their own recreational use or for their health use. So you know, I think that this is a positive development. You know, also it addresses, you know, the disparity in terms of how marijuana laws are enforced. You know, often these marijuana laws are enforced in a discriminatory manner where African Americans are targeted, where African Americans receive harsher sentences. And then, you know, in this particular article, they cited examples of people not being able to get a job because of past convictions dealing with marijuana possession. And hopefully this will free up people, you know, free up people from, you know, having their records tarnished for possessing marijuana. And also, you know, it will address this problem of mass incarceration to some degree, because people should not be locked up simply for possessing marijuana. I mean, there are far more important issues that need to be addressed in cities like Baltimore, besides some possession of marijuana. So anyway, let me see what you all are saying before I sign out. Just bear with me a second. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. And then I'm going to do one other quick YouTube video before I'm done. I know it's very early in the morning, so hopefully people will be able to watch this on the playback. Again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for supporting this channel. And I want to hear from you. What do you think about marijuana? Should it be legalized? Why should it be legalized? Why shouldn't it be legalized? Tell me your thoughts. So please rate, comment, and subscribe.